But it's been a horror final day on the campaign trail for the Liberals. Will Hodgman's team were hoping to get some clear air, to sell a campaign that many believe was disciplined and well run. But instead, they've been forced to defend a controversial policy that would essentially see gun laws weakened.
A trouble-free election campaign gone into damage control.
We will not in any way do anything to endanger Tasmanians.
On the eve of the election, every sitting Liberal member, bar one, was in the seat of lions as Will Hodgman dealt with the backlash from last-minute revelations of proposed gun law changes. The architect of the policy, Police Minister Rhiannon, was not there.
In 2006, Rhiannon wanted to give 12-year-olds guns. Now he wants to make it easier for Tasmanians to acquire semi-automatic weapons and silencers.
After consulting with farmers and recreational shooters, the Liberals have flagged greater access to Category C firearms, such as self-loading rifles and pump-action shotguns for farm workers and sporting shooters, permitting silencers for Category C licence holders, doubling gun licence duration, and relaxing penalties for minor gun storage law breaches. They also float a new category, allowing banned firearms to be used by unidentified specialists. Gun control groups are fuming.
These proposals, if they come into effect, will make Tasmania less safe.
The Premier is defending the proposed changes.
We do not believe that this policy will in fact compromise the National Firearms Agreement.
The Premier needs to go and read that agreement because it's in black and white what the minimum standards are, and this state is looking at breaching them.
Gun Control Australia points to the proposed new prohibited firearms category and the extension of gun licences as clear breaches of the national agreement. But sporting shooters say the changes are reasonable.
But I know definitely Northern Territory have 10-year licensing, so it's not out of the norm to have 10-year licensing.
The Tasmanian Farmers and Graziers Association says the context of the proposed changes has been distorted.
We are more concentrating on pump-action shotguns, which are 12-gauge shotguns, not self-loading, high-powered rifles.
They are sensible changes which will assist in both sporting shooters and farmers and graziers in controlling browsing wildlife.
The policy did not appear on the Tasmanian Liberals website, and Gun Control Australia says it wasn't consulted.
There has been no debate about it, there's been no discussion, there's been nothing, just silence from this government up until a couple of days ago.
Well, there are 300 policies or thereabouts that we have released over the course of this election campaign. 100 of them have been put on the website.
What else don't the Tasmanian people know about the Liberals' agenda?
While Tasmanian Labor has a similar proposal to lessen penalties for minor storage breaches, Rebecca White denies her policy goes as far.
It is vastly different. We have made no decisions of the nature that the Liberal Party have, and we wouldn't do that on the eve of an election.
Tasmanians won't need to wait long to see whether gun law changes are a game changer for the poll result. Ellen Coulter, ABC News.
The fallout has been quick. Survivors of the Port Arthur massacre say they're devastated and feel betrayed by the Liberals' policy. Rhiannon has more.
Peter Crosswell is one of few people to survive the shooting massacre inside Port Arthur's Broad Arrow Cafe. Mr Crosswell was shot while trying to protect two women.
First time when I saw him with that gun just walk up to somebody and shoot him dead from about 3 feet away. Something I'll never forget.
22 years on, he says any proposal to relax gun laws would be a slap in the face.
I'm sure I, like many other people, would be absolutely devastated if the laws were to be weakened in any way.
The doctor in charge of the Royal Hobart Hospital's emergency department on the day of the shooting was Brian Walpole, who worked with then Prime Minister John Howard and Premier Tony Rundle to toughen gun laws. They reached agreement with state premiers for national reform in the face of tough opposition from the gun lobby. Dr Walpole now feels betrayed.
I mean, how can you sort of trust a government that does this sort of sneakily just before an election?
Others who saw so much tragedy that day caused by just one gun are struggling to believe the Liberals' position.
I was gobsmacked. I just can't believe a responsible person would want to weaken the gun laws that we have, especially in this state, with the history we've got. I was disgusted.
The Alannah and Madeline Foundation, which was set up by Walter Micak, whose wife and 2 daughters were shot in the massacre, has also condemned the plans.
The gun laws and the National Firearms Agreement are in place for a reason, and to look at watering those down is incredibly disappointing.
Why tamper with something that's working so well? We're the envy of the whole world with our gun laws, so why tamper with it?
A question being asked by many of those affected by the Port Arthur tragedy. Rhiannon Shine, ABC News.